Has your worship or serving the Lord ever got in the way of you getting closer to God? You know, it does happen. We're going to dig into a little scripture this morning. We're going to talk about some real world examples, so don't go anywhere. So this week we're in Luke chapter 10, starting in verse 38. It's somewhat of a familiar story. It's where Martha and Mary visit with Jesus. Jesus and the disciples continued on their way to Jerusalem. They came to a certain village where a woman named Martha welcomed him into her home. Her sister Mary sat at the Lord's feet listening to what he had taught. But Martha was distracted, distracted by the big dinner she was preparing. She came to Jesus and said, "Lord, doesn't it seem unfair to you that my sister just sits here while I do all the work? Tell her to come help me." But the Lord said to her, "My dear Martha, you are worried about and upset over all these details. There is only one thing worth being concerned about, and Mary has discovered it, and it will not be taken away from her." See, the most important thing in that room that day was Jesus. So one of my real-world examples, I had an important meeting with a purchaser in a large manufacturing plant. And as a salesperson does, when I went into his office to introduce myself, I was looking around for something to talk about, maybe a football team or where he graduated from. But lo and behold, I seen this small toy drum set that was sitting up on one of his shelves. And behind his desk, there was a large 8x10 picture with a drum set on it. I could immediately tell it was from a worship set, from a mega church type setting is what I would describe it. You could see all the lights and the clear plastic drum shield on the front, like a lot of us have at our churches. And I said, "Oh, you play your drums at church?" He says, "No, I don't play drums for the Lord anymore." And my expression on my face must have gave it away that I was kind of surprised by his answer, and I was somewhat judging him. Oh, here's another guy that's got a talent for the Lord, doesn't serve the Lord anymore with his talent. But his answer and what he responded to blew me away. He said, "Ray," he says, "you know, I can tell you what the set list was from 2 Sundays ago. I can tell you what the set list is going to be 2 Sundays from now. I can tell you when I'm supposed to come in because I'm always thinking about it. I'm always practicing. I can tell you when the worship leader comes in earlier, and I can tell you when I miss my cue and I'm off time and off with the click. You know, but what I can't tell you, after 2 services that morning," and I can't remember if he said 2 services or 3 services, but he said, "You know, Ray, what I can't tell you after 2 services that morning on the way home is if we were in the Old Testament or the New Testament. I can't tell you if we were talking about sin or grace, because I was so focused on playing the drums, when I was going to do this and when I was going to do that, and serving the Lord, that I was missing my opportunity to grow with the Lord." And it's just like Martha. Serving that meal became a distraction to her to what was the most important thing in the room, which was Jesus. Now, I'm certainly not saying don't serve the Lord and don't get busy in your church. Don't hate me, pastors. But what I am saying is you got to be aware of this. There is a happy medium of getting busy for the Lord and growing in the Lord. You know, I hope this has helped you in your walk with Christ. I hope it's something that you know, that you're cautious of. You know, if this has ever happened, you'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment down below. If you know someone that may need to hear this video, I hope that you'll share it with them. Like that video and subscribe. We certainly appreciate your support. God bless you, and keep looking up, and we'll see you next week.